Welcome to friEdCast, where today's innovation shapes tomorrow's education. Dive into the world of artificial intelligence with us and our special guest, Shantel Lott, a friTech learning guide who has masterfully showcased AI tools in 2 transformative sessions. Discover how these tools are not just assistants, but catalysts for creativity, redefining learning, and lightening teachers' loads. Join us for a glimpse into the future of education, where every lesson is a masterpiece of possibility. Welcome to the future. Welcome to friEdCast. Hello, friEd fans, friEd family. If you're just visiting, welcome to another friEdCast episode, and we've got the specialist, the most specialist. Is that can you say that? Is that
specialist? AI specialist.
AI specialists in the world. Now we're adding extra pressure on our guest here, but this individual has presented on artificial intelligence, so she knows what teachers like and what teachers don't like. Mm-hmm. So we have a very special guest, and her name is, introduce yourself.
I'm Shantel Lott. I am a lead learning guide with Technology, and I guess I'm the specialist. Is that what we're saying? The specialist.
I love it.
I love
we're changing
AI.
The title now.
I'm an AI enthusiast, and I'm excited to be here today.
Awesome.
We're so excited.
We are, because everybody wants to know about artificial intelligence.
It feels like that's what everyone's talking about. Is AI.
I have the statistic that I forgot I wanted to mention in the previous episode we did. So we asked, how many years did each take to get to 50 million users? Okay. So airplanes took 68 years. Okay. The internet took 7 years to reach 50 million users. Facebook took three years to reach 50 million users. Can you guess how long it took generative AI to reach 50 million users?
6 months.
Yeah, a year, 2 years.
So I got 6 months. I got 2 years. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
A year.
It took 5 weeks.
What?
To reach 50 million users. And that's why everybody wants to know about AI. Mm-hmm. And that's why we're doing this episode, because Shantel. No pressure.
No, we have 2 specialists. Daryl wrote our AI course off.
I did do that, didn't I?
You did do that on Pride Online. And then Shantel, you are hot off of lots of conferences presenting about different AI tools that teachers can use, right?
Yes. Yeah. And of course, one of my titles of my session, AI has got you, right? AI got you. So
see how clever that is. And it does. It's nothing. I mean, I know people are afraid of it. Some people are, but we're going to show you how educators, or Shantel will tell us how educators are using it. And she'll showcase and tell us about some of the tools that got teachers excited during your sessions. So more teacher-facing tools in this session.
Yeah, definitely. Just coming off of conference season, there were lots of things that people were interested in. But I will say AI resoundingly was an outstanding kind of category that people were just really hungry for and interested in. And so it was just really cool to see how everybody is really interested in it, utilizing it. And of course, at the conference, at conferences or at conference level, it's people who are very, very excited or interested in learning something new. So everybody has some sort of kind of level that they come in with, but also enthusiasm. And so I feel like that was really cool just to kind of see how everybody was really excited. And then also seeing for me, I feel like all of the tools were there. Of course, at the conference, you see all the tools and all the people are there, but seeing how they have really integrated AI into what they currently have has really been the coolest thing. So
what were some common trends that you saw among session attendees for the things that they were either problems they were trying to solve with AI or tools that they were really excited about?
I think, and there was a lot of showcasing teacher facing tools, but I really feel like they were really excited about like a plethora of tools, but really anything that helps ease the burden of like, the to-do list. Like we all have that dreaded to-do list. There's tons of things you have to do. And then being a teacher, like, I mean, that just is like a multitude. Like you have so many hats that you're juggling. And so, we kind of try to like talk about AI as a personal assistant. And I feel like there was a lot of interest in the ways that AI could help teachers in the classroom, like with their everyday tasks that they have, like how can we lighten the load for them? So things that were really interested in them were, things that would make that easy. And of course, the tried and true, like I said, people come at different levels. So learning about ChatGPT, learning about, Copilot, were at the top of a lot of people's lists. But then in addition, learning about some of the apps that are specifically honed into education, such as like Magic AI or Quizzes AI or even CuraPod, were at the top of people's lists too, because those definitely help lighten teachers' loads.
I feel like I saw in our team chat a while ago that Amy tried to grade something using AI and was super impressed. Did I miss that? Am I
yeah.
correct?
No,
Okay.
you're right.
Yeah.
She was so excited about that we put it in our feedback for all course.
Oh, really?
Also in our AI course too, using generative AI for feedback.
Okay. Yeah. So CuraPod does a really good job of that. And that's one of the tools that I really have liked, because CuraPod will allow you to have an engaging lesson with your students. And you can add a slide, or you can add an activity for students to answer an open-ended question, and it will give it AI generated feedback. So, if I asked you, why is the sky blue? And you say, well, it's because, of how the light reflects off of, whatever. If you're close to it, it'll say, oh, like, good job, you're close, I see what you're saying here. Or it will say, hey, here's what you can, add to it to make it better or make it correct. So it's definitely, and that is pretty cool, just because, of course,
that is cool.
I mean, of course you can do that, but I feel like with teachers having such a heavy load, it's cool to have some kind of built in like that.
Is that the one that can design slideshows for you?
It can.
Okay, I've heard about that one.
And it's standard based. So people love it because it's standard based, and it also can, create a lesson for you. There's different tools that are part of CuraPod besides just building a lesson. And you can actually like upload your own slide deck if you don't want it to do that, but just curify it and add some of those different elements, or even the AI response at the end. So really up to you how you want to utilize it. But it will also do it for, create you a slide deck or a lesson from scratch. And so that's also one of those things to make life easier.
Okay, I need to check that one out. I've heard that one before. Someone mentioned in another podcast. Oh, make sure.
Listen, you're curious about CuraPod.
I am. I'm curious about. I see. I get it.
I'm trying to think of ways that I wish I would have had AI when I was a teacher. I was a computer science teacher, and I hated looking for kids mistakes, debugging with them.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't find it either. It was usually one semicolon that was missing. I feel like I would have just copied and pasted it into ChatGPT and been like, tell me what's wrong here.
What is it? Yeah, I tried, because I wanted to dabble in Google scripting. So yeah. I asked ChatGPT to make me a script for, I want to do this. It was like, okay, I got the script. Now what do I do with it? How do I know if it's working?
You should have sent me a message. I'll tell you what to. Okay. That's a different problem for a different time. Okay.
I mean, I asked it everything. Yeah. So what other? So there's CuraPod. I know there's tons others out there. So was that a hit for teachers when you mentioned that one in your session?
Yeah, that definitely was. A lot of them, that's a pretty new one. So that was new to them. I would also say Magic School was a good one too, because it takes the word you could absolutely, go into any of the tools like ChatGPT and even Copilot. And if you prompt really well, definitely get the result that you can get really at any, like with any of these tools. But I think like, you know, it takes a little bit of those steps out for you. So I feel like Magic School does that one really well. I think that the reason why that one's so cool is it's very intuitive, because it really takes on the things that we already know that we are going to do, and it like assists you with it. Like, I definitely feel like you still have to fill out and do your part of it, but it just assists you with making it a little bit better. So
I just looked at like behavior intervention plan generator.
yeah, there's some cool stuff on there.
There's like hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right about, because, you know, something that's intimidating for most is like, okay, I need to create this prompt that covers everything, and it needs to be, you know, efficient. But here, it's just it instead of you creating the prompt, it prompts you to just fill in the blanks, and it's able to create a song generator.
Yeah. Listen, you want like a question with Beyonce in it, you got it. Like whatever it is, Taylor Swift, you got it. Like, and I think that also helps with engagement, because, like, you know, I remember having assessments with, like, you know, my teacher would like do something that was just like relevant, and then we'd be like, oh my gosh, you know, and then then in turn get those things, and your kids love it. Like, I don't know, I feel like those are the things that kind of stood out. Like, and I think you know, this allows you to do it, but instead of you having to use all the brain power to be like, oh my gosh, like what are the Taylor Swift lyrics and how can I integrate those in this lesson, it will help you a little bit with that, right? And so
what I love about tools like these is like, it's, you know, there's this, I think there is a fear that some people share that it's just gonna do people's jobs for them. And that's not necessarily the case. You are still crafting the experience that students are going to have in your class. You are still the person that knows that Beyonce question is going to like get everybody back in and excited about it and things like that. Like, the teacher piece of it is still very much on the teacher, but the time that it takes to complete these things is what the actual tool is doing. You know,
and like I said, this assists you with prompting. Like, you know, all of these tools are layered over ChatGPT, and you know, but it's kind of just assisting you with that prompting. And I think even if, like I said, even if you were to do it from scratch, I think what the benefit of that is that you kind of learn also as you're doing. Like, so if you just decide like, I'm just going to jump into ChatGPT and do it that way, like you still can do it. I think it's just, you learn, it's more of like a learning curve, but it's a good learning curve, because you start learning what you need to say and how you need to say it to get the end result. And I think that just, you know, makes our writing better, but also our prompting better, and we get better results. And so that growing with, you know, expressing about, you know, what exactly I'm looking for. Like, oh no, I'm not looking for, you know, these type of, you know, questions. I'm looking for these type of questions. We need to word it a little bit more.
So there's still critical thinking involved with using
there is, because you will not hit.
There's a saying, it's like gosh, there's AI and there's also HI, human intelligence. So with the human intelligence that goes behind using AI, you're compounding AI's use. So I forgot who it was. It was Vicki Davis, I think. It was her podcast. She had said, like, if you gave AI a value of, let's say, 1,000, but human intelligence, you don't know your content as an educator, you don't know what to ask, whatever, is 0, your output's going to be 0. But as a teacher, if you know what you're talking about, you know exactly what lesson, that your pedagogy, your HI is like 1,000 times 1,000 is like 10 billion quadrillion. I did the math right?
You were a math teacher, were you?
That's a technical term, and I accept it.
I was going to, but they decided to put me in science. Thank goodness.
No, you're right. You really have to know what you're looking for. And then even then, I feel like it's still up to you as the educator, as the teacher, to make sure that you're checking the resources that it produces or whatever the question, because, you know, you're ultimately, you know, the proofreader. You're going to give it the once over to make sure that it's what you want to, you know, share with your students, or, you know, maybe I need to tweak it. So I think, even though, like, again, it's a helpful assistant, a teaching assistant, it's still an assistant. Like, it still needs your help to be successful, and it still needs your input to really bring forth exactly what you want. So,
well said.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's true.
Very well said.
I know. I think you talk about this in your presentations. And Lauren, weren't you? You were at the Adobe conference, weren't you, when they released all those AI features?
Not the most recent one, but the one before.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I know this recent Adobe conference. Everyone was super excited about the AI features in like Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, Adobe Illustrator. But I know we do trainings for Adobe Express.
We do.
And some of those AI features trickle down into Adobe Express. So tell us about those features. And
they definitely have. So for Adobe Express, we've got text to image, which is a very popular one, especially with some of our teammates, because you know anything about Amy's store, she loves some otters. And there are otters doing all kinds of things in our Adobe Express accounts.
I've been there. It's like, ooh. Totally Amy store.
Going on adventures, you name it. But I mean, reading books, whatever it is that you want that character to do, it will, or that image, whatever you can think or dream, it will create. And so I love that. If you want it to be cute and cuddly, you got to say cute and cuddly. But it just creates images that are just kind of awesome. Like whatever you can dream up, you can create. And there's also generative fill, which is, I always say, like, if you're getting into the design stuff, then that's really cool because, like, spaces in an image that are empty, you can highlight those spaces and make it generate something or remove something. So that's pretty cool. Like when it comes to, adding things to images that we already have. And then
I just got to use that the other day for the first time. I actually had a reason to use it, and I was trying to fill in. So Amy had headshots done for her book that's coming out this summer. And so I was making some social media graphics for it. And there was one where it's like the photo cut off too early. Like I needed it to take up more space. So I used the generative fill and it just filled in the rest of the brick wall that was behind it, like that.
Seamlessly, right? Nice.
Crazy.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Cause expanding an image or any of that stuff is pretty cool. And how it just, can figure out, okay, you want this bigger, let me put these things here. So it's pretty cool. And then Adobe even has text effects. So if you are writing a word and you want an effect on top of it, right, you got it. Like you want pillows spelling out Daryl, you got it.
Yeah. Because
I want Daryl made out of pickleballs.
Pickleballs?
No, I've tried that and it,
And it works?
It works.
I feel like Adobe Express, they promoted a lot for student use in the classroom too. And I do feel like, we don't have to get into all the student tools or anything like that because we're talking teacher tools, but that one does feel like kind of an approachable space for students to be testing out an AI tool just within Adobe Express because they're creating and they're making something and they can be creative with that prompt, kind of how we were talking about. You still have to have that critical thinking as you're telling the AI what you want. I feel like that's a really cool one for students to get started and adjust using their words to describe what they want.
Yeah.
There was
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm interrupting. Because I forgot about. I wanted to mention Amy's story. Remember that game that she put in the chat?
Yes, Google.
Google say what you see or see what you. I gotta find it now.
It's a Google Art and Cultures
yes.
game, and it is about prompting, which is super cool. It's helping students prompt and learn
say
how
what
to
you see
correctly. Say what you see, and so they'll see an image, and then they have to write out what the image is, if they were trying to get the AI to generate it, and it'll see how close they are to it and kind of tell them, hey, you can improve this by adding this or that. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's good practice. I think when it comes to prompting, students, training them, it's good to start with images first and then go with the other stuff. I don't know. That's just my.
It is. I think you're right because I think one, it supports their creativity. It really kind of supports them in a place where I'm not gonna say it, listen, I sometimes I am design challenged, but most people have some form of creativity.
We
And
all
so
do
kind
in
of
some
seeing that
way.
come to life in like working on creating something that you maybe have seen in your mind, it kind of gives them a boost of confidence.
Right,
So if they
right.
can learn how to prompt and then get that response like with an image or what have you, then it's kind of like, oh yeah, I can do this, like for possible other avenues of them using AI is that the little bit of like, this is possible, or wow, that's really neat. All I had to do is say, type this in and it popped right up. So
That's a great point.
it's kind of giving them that little bit of boost of confidence.
And it's funny because I feel like the more I use ChatGPT or something like that, the more ideas I get for other ways that I can use it, But yeah, so like you just have to try just like a little bit, and then like light bulbs start going up.
It's like
it can do
creativity
that.
on top of
Tell me that.
creativity. You said what?
Say that again. Creativity compounds creativity.
Well, I would like to say I said something fancy on that. I was just like creativity on creativity.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just like it just builds, right?
Yeah,
it does. Yeah. And so I think that's a good way for them to kind of learn. And Adobe has some awesome challenges, especially with the text to image, like they can create their own, animal alter ego. And so it's just like fun little stuff to kind of get them in and kind of practicing and playing around with it and kind of, see what they can design and create. And so that's, it definitely is a great tool, student facing tool when it comes to using AI.
So if a teacher has never used any type of AI tools, what would be a good like gateway AI tool for someone to just try and see what they think?
I would definitely I would definitely say Adobe Express, because that text to image is a super image generation is an easy way to get into AI without having to worry about adding too many words or having the exact right prompt or exact right command, because it's easy for them to use. And I would say also some of the ones that I talked about where they're like lifting the teacher's load, like especially Magic School, because it kind of has the blanks on what to put in each part of it to kind of help you really like see, okay, this is what I need to ask for. And as a good starting off point, of course, like you can definitely start off with like ChatGPT or those sort of things, but it just depends on like where you like to learn. You want to learn with like, okay, like I can tackle this, I can just maybe I need to add this this time, or like I always say, make it personable, make it friendly, right? Always gives me more results. Or make it short, because if you start working with ChatGPT, you'll know it's a little long-winded.
Like just start somewhere, and then you'll know what to build and what to add from there. Yeah.
Yeah,
there are times where I tell ChatGPT, okay, stop. That's not what I want. Stop generating.
When it starts going on a whole page dissertation,
like, I don't want to read this. Stop. Let me revise my prompt in 5 sentences or less.
Like it's only going to take it a couple of times of writing an entire dissertation before you're like, okay, short.
Brief is like a word I use all the time.
Well, these are great though. I love that. I mean, the being Adobe Express being a good introduction, because the AI features is an enhancement of what their tools are meant to do, which is meant to design. So I love that. So perfect. Hey, I think this is a great episode. So we're going to put those tools in the show notes so everyone knows where to find them and where they can get them. But I just want to thank Shantel for being our wonderful guest today, talking about a bit of AI. So is there anything else you'd like to say to our lovely audience before we say goodbye?
AI has got you. I don't know. I feel like wait, I gotta do it the right way, right?
Do it.
Hey, I got you.
Hey, that's branded. You can't take that. Okay.
Yeah. TM.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Bye.
Bye-bye.